Well, Neville, welcome to the Road to Happy, mate.
Yeah. No,
had a good day today?
Yeah, no, mega day today.
Yeah.
Fun. Good to meet you guys and ride a track I've never ridden before. It's always kind of been here for a long time, so it's not often I get to ride a new spot. So
yeah, man, it's tough out there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a hard track. It's kind of like quite deep, you know, like catches the front and stuff, and then it got quite rough quite quick. So where I'm going to be racing soon was good for that as well. And then I just, you know, it's quite funny, like I can still do like a 30-minute motor and stay motivated, you know, at my age. Just with new tracks, make it a lot easier to kind of you know, hit some different turns and stuff.
Man. So 30-minute motos, man. Scary. They're scary.
They're definitely not as intense as what they used to be, but you're still getting the time in. So.
Yeah. It's wicked, man. It's been a real pleasure to meet you today as well, man, and watch you ride from the sideline. You know, I did it, like I said, last year I raced at some meetings that you was at. Yeah. And it's a pleasure to watch you ride, because the skill level you have on a bike, and it's clearly for the amount of times a day, like times a week you ride. Yeah. Your skill level is incredible, and to watch it from the outside it's been mint today, man. It's been a real great day. It is.
Like, you think I've raced 32 years in a row without stopping a year, and still now, you know, like I went through a period for about 3 or 4 years where I wouldn't ride during the week, but now, like, I consciously, you know, like where I got, like, it helps me mentally and stuff, and I figured out like a rhythm through my life that makes my life easier. Riding is a big part of that, so, and I enjoy it, you know, like I'm pumped today. Did like a warm-up in 2 30-minute motors, and I can go home, and it's kind of weird, like still at 38 you feel like I don't need to do that, but I still feel like I have to, and it feels good to do it, which is quite weird, you know. And also, like we said a little bit earlier, you know, like you stop for 3 or 4 months, it's hard to get back in, where I find I've got into a rhythm, and especially last year we definitely, I feel like I got back to like a good level myself, because I was racing every single weekend at the AMCA, and now I'm like, you know, I don't really want to let that slip, you know, and I sometimes I do feel guilty for still riding, but as I said before, dude, if it makes me happy and I'm happy at home, and then everyone around me is happy, you know, like I think everyone kind of wins.
Yeah, for sure, man.
That's what I tell myself anyway.
Yeah, no, that's it. I think we all have to have that little bit of selfish in us to survive what life is now. I think we all have to have that. Everyone, whether you're married, whether you're single, whatever, you have to have that individual thing that you go and do for you. That makes you yourself. You know, it is. Some might say it's a selfish kind of way of thinking, but sometimes that's what you have to do to be you. To go home and carry good vibes inside your house and bring goodness home instead of being miserable. You got a good vibe about you when you get home. That's what I've found since I've been back. Like my mum and my dad as well. Like there's a good vibe, there's a good aura. You know, it's cool, man. And I think that's important to make sure that you have that.
Like when you've got something to look forward to on a weekend, you know, like I've been down some dark paths in the last couple of years, and one thing that does kind of bring me back onto, I wouldn't say completely straight and narrow, but kind of straight and narrow, is racing on a weekend, you know. Like that is one thing, you know, looking forward to. Obviously my kids is the biggest thing in my life, and then the racing, my family, but that, you know, having that weekend, and you know, like today I rode because I've got racing coming up, you know, like you've always got something to work towards. I find when you're not racing and you don't have something in the distance, it's like you kind of think to yourself, what is the point of this? What is the actual point of, you know, like you obviously spend time with your kids, which is cool and stuff, but like it's almost like you feel like a little bit worthless, you know, like when your whole life has been racing and going towards a goal and trying to get better and whatever it is, you know, and then all of a sudden that kind of stops and you think like, what is the point of it, you know? Like, and I really like, you know, like I look up to people that can take that, you know, the drive and the passion they had when they were racing and taking it to business or something else like that, you know, because it's not easy to do, you know. I don't know if they have the same vibe, you know, like obviously a lot of people do well. I've obviously just finished my first year in like a proper job, and I've taken to that really well, so it's another thing. I think motocross really sets you up well, you know, like the work ethic and everything 100%. That you take from those years of racing to become successful, you can use that later on in life to set yourself up with something. But to find a passion somewhere else is different. I think, you know, to find something that you wake up for every day, and that you're consciously thinking about all the time, and you know, you don't do the bad stuff so that you can, because you know it's going to be detrimental to what you want to get at the end of the day, you know, like to find that somewhere else, I think that's very difficult.
It's tricky, man. Jesus, I spent 22, 23 years trying to do it, man. Like, it is so tricky. I mean, snowboarding, mountain biking, running, everything of football, you know, like you say, you throw yourself into everything, like you throw yourself into your motocross. And you give it everything you give it. But like you say, if it's not a passion,
it's
something's still missing. The soul still feels like it's just missing that little bit. But you can push it into other areas, but like you say, if it's not a passion.
No, like I think to find that percentage that you need to be at a level, you have to have that passion behind it because of the work that goes behind it. And that's something like with me, you know, like I'm either in or I'm out. Like it's something I wish sometimes I could change because it does make my life hard, you know, like when I'm invested in something or, you know, like I'm in. And when I'm not, I'm not. Like a lot of people live in that grey area between and they're happy there because I think someone that doesn't do sport or, you know, something to like a certain level or whatever you want to call it, they've never felt that feeling. So I think, you know, like it's a good thing and it's a bad thing that we've lived that life, you know, because you're always chasing something and, you know, like, and it's the same as friendships and stuff, dude. It's like, I find it hard to just kind of like if someone's my friend, they know they're my friend, and if someone's pissed me off, they know they've pissed me off. You know, like I really struggle to just find that like passing myself, and if someone's pissed me off, to be okay with them. You know, it's the same as racing and or anything. Like if we're going to triathlon or whatever you do, like it's, I don't know what they call it, like an obsessive compulsive.
Yeah, for sure, it's like absolutely that. You know? It's absolutely that. I get it with, I have to have everything straight. You know, when I'm at work, all my tools have to be straight, and but that is part of the obsessive that you have with motocross. It comes from that 100%. Carry it into everything.
It must be carry it kind of weird, isn't it?
But it's hard to find that balance. Like I do that with friends, like you say. Like I expect the same from everyone. What I give. But it ain't like that. The world's not like that. The world's just, we all are very individual. Every single person on the planet is individual. We have an individual way of thinking, and it's the acceptance of, oh, hold on a minute, I'm here at 7:30, why ain't there at 7:30?
Oh no, it's a very different, you know? I've got a kind of like a little bit of a different outlook on it, and I don't know if it's negative or not, but like I struggle a little bit like mentally and stuff, and obviously the last 4 or 5 years it's really come out since I've stopped racing, and I speak to a lot of people, and man, probably like 7 out of 10 dudes that have stopped racing have got issues. So I kind of like speak to people, and there's different paths you can go, like antidepressants, this, whatever. But you know, everyone's like, speak to someone, and like you get to the point, like I'm at the point where you don't, like I don't have someone to speak to, you know, like you sort of like as much as everyone says talk, I think it's something that you have to take on yourself and sort it yourself out. And it is, dude, because like, you know, like the amount of people that are like, oh dude, if you ever need anything, call me, listen, I'm always here for you, whatever. And then when it comes down to it and you fucked and you like, you know, you like at fucking breaking point and you need to speak to someone, like those people don't, you know, like the people that say, yeah, I'm there, dude, I'm your brother, whatever, you my guy, they're not there when you need them, you know, like, so I've kind of like gone away from that now. Like I still speak to my buddies and I help them out a bit when we kind of bounce off each other when we're having up and down weeks and stuff, but I think it's down to yourself, you know, like I've worked with like, there's one person in South Africa, this lady that's like a psychiatrist. She's probably the only person that really gets me. But then it's like every time you go through an episode, like I'm not gonna, you know, burden her with my problems, you know what I mean? And now
that's the automatic thought process, isn't
you know, it's like, fuck, like does she want to hear how I don't want to wake up in the morning, or like I can't, this anxiety's like fucking killing me, like she doesn't really want to hear that. And being a sports person as well, you like try make a positive environment, and you know, you don't want to, you can feel like a negative vibe, and like as a sports person you stay away from negative vibes. Like I did that massively, like through my career. As soon as I was around like a negative influence, I'd always go away from it. So I don't want to be that negative influence now, you know. So you don't really want to phone someone up and say, oh listen, like going through. So I know it is like kind of the thing where everyone says there's always something to speak to, but I think also, you know, sometimes you just got to knuckle down and fuck, it is what it is, deal with it the best you can. And
I totally agree. I didn't start changing my life until I realised I've got to talk to someone.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, you go through that, like your life with the sports mentality.
Yeah.
And it's okay, put it to the side, get on with it, get the next race out of the way.
Yeah.
And you carry that with my mentality. It's like, it's all right, I've got this happening. Keep everyone out of it. I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
I'll carry on. I'll be all right. I'll work it out.
Yeah.
But you bury it. You bury it. You bury it. You bury it until one day it's breaking point.
Yeah.
And it's like, I have got to talk to someone.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, I'm going to really end up in trouble. Probably in the ground. And I got to a place where it was like, you know what? I've got to do this for others around me, not for me. It's got to be for others around me, because I'm going to end up hurting everyone around me otherwise. And as soon as I got past that, and it was like, you know what? I can be weak, but be strong. If that makes sense.
Dude, it's hard to
can
speak.
go, you know what? I'm breaking.
It's hard to speak to someone.
But I can, after that conversation, feel amazing and strong. And like, you know what? It's cool.
My first one, dude, I couldn't believe the shit that was coming out of my mouth. The first time I saw a proper psychiatrist, and you like, and you know, it's the same as you say, you bury it, dude. So like, when you're racing, you can bury everything, because all that happens is in that moment. So all you think about is the next weekend, and there's loads of shit going on, but it all gets pushed. And dude, like I had loads of shit going on when I was a kid. Like with my dad was like an alcoholic and fucking like. It was gnarly, dude, but like I must have loved racing, because the amount of times I quit, like, you know, doing our racing, then we had a motocross track until 10, 11 o'clock because he wants to party after the races. And we just fucking sat there and like, you know, so, you know, you just bury everything, you know, bury, and then obviously you move over here and everything's different. But I did find that, dude, like, motocross, you can do that because you can almost hide from the real world, because it's like your own little world, and all that matters is performing on a weekend. And then when you step away from that, I think through time, just all that shit starts resurfacing.
It's still there.
And I think that's the that's one of my biggest issues. Is like, I spent like a few weeks with this woman, and she's like, you need like 4 months of like total detox, fucking, like it's a mess, you know, like. And that's when you get to the point, and maybe that's another reason why I try to keep busy now, is because it's, again, you're obviously running from something. Maybe there's something there that you're kind of running away from, and you don't want to face up to, or whatever the deal is. And then racing is a good substitute, because, as you know, when you're on a motorbike, nothing else matters, dude. Like,
can't hear nothing.
Fucking
silence.
You could be like, people could be out there to kill you, or whatever the deal is. Like, there could be people dying, and for that 30 minutes. It's gone, you know. There's not a lot of things you can do in life that completely take you away from real world living, you know.
For sure. I used to have a saying is, insanity keeps me sane. And what I mean by that is, going out there and doing that to others, it's insane. To friends that don't ride bikes, they're like, mate, you're a nutcase. So that out there, that insanity brings me sanity. It brings me serenity. It brings me peace, and it brings me a sense of empowerment over myself and my feelings, and it gives me purpose. It gives me a reason.
It's a big thing.
Like, we've got reasons. You've got kids, you've got a wife, and they're my reason. They're my reason I carry on. But this is my reason that I carry on personally. Do you know what I mean? But that insanity keeps me sane. That, like you say, 30 minutes of insanity keeps you sane.
It's quite funny, somebody actually said that to me. Someone that's never been to motocross came and watched motocross, and they were like, oh, this is insane, like, are you not scared? And you're like, this is the safest place in the world for me. This is my place, you know, like riding a motorbike as fast as you can, because you, to a certain extent, you can control the outcome. Like when you've been riding as long as what we've been riding, you can kind of like see the dirt, you can expect stuff to happen, and you know, like I never ride to a limit where I'm on the limit. I'm always ride within myself, so you can kind of like, you can never say you can control it, but you've got control of what's going on around you, you know.
and that's a nice thing as well.
Yeah, it's cool, you know.
Complete control of what's going on.
Yeah. Like, and it's not often in life you get that, and that's something I struggle with now.
You don't see it at all. You don't feel like you're in control of anything in life.
Dude, it's hard, you know, and that's something I've struggled with going to work. Is like the amount of stuff that's out of your control, and I can't handle it. I can't handle not having, to a certain extent, the outcome in my hand. You know, like when you race, like, fuck, you want to do well, right? Work your ass off, get on a good team, try as hard as you can. You know, and there's a good possibility you will, but it's up to you.
Yeah.
You know, like when you're in the real world and you're relying on other people to do stuff, and this guy to do this, and that guy doesn't do it, then you look like a dick, and it's just like, fuck, you just.
Why didn't you think of that?
Sucks,
why ain't you? I'm thinking it. Why aren't you thinking it? Why are you doing it? I was thinking that 2 days ago. Why haven't you done it? Yeah, I get it, man. I totally get it.
Yeah, it is.
But it's I don't. I love what motocross has done for me mentally. You know, I wouldn't be who I am without it. No, you know, and it's taken a long time to build a life without it. It's really tricky. Yeah. It's tricky, but I still am so grateful and so thankful that we did that when I was a kid. Yeah. And we went through. Like, my dad was a bricklayer, he didn't have a pot to piss in, like we had nothing. Like, I come from a background of council estates, and my dad worked every hour under the sun to give me what he gave me. But I wouldn't change it for the world, man. No. Because
at the time
it has made me so powerful. Like if I go training, or even through my football career, it's just that little bit of spice on your mentality. You know, motocross give me that, man. It's taken a long time to work that out. You know,
dude, like you think about like what motocross gives to kids, and the feelings that the kids that race motorbikes feel compared to their friends at school even.
Amazing.
Dude, it's like, you know, it's probably like so like if a kid goes to a party, whatever you do at parties, I'm sure everyone knows what you do at parties, I'm not going to say it, and you have the best night of your life. Like you have one night that's the best night of your life. Motocross kids get that like 3 times on a weekend. You know, and you know, like you said that you're grateful for it, and I am, dude. Like, fuck, I made a living from my dream, like coming from South Africa for 14 years. So as much as I love it and it's cool and I still do it now and I love it, in a way, I wish I didn't do it because I'd never feel that. So now I feel my life wouldn't be as good, but it'd be a lot easier to live. I wouldn't have that thing nagging me all the time. You know, there's something inside of me, like all the time, that's like nagging. Like it's not a peace, you know. And then you find other stuff that takes the nag away, and then that ruins your life. You know, like that ends up ruining your life. You know, it's like it's a fine balance, you know. But the reason I think you have that nag is because of racing motocross, you know, like
it's a catch-22, man, isn't it?
It's rough, dude.
No, man.
It's rough, you know, like.
But I wouldn't turn back the clocks for nothing, man. Like, I think even like the bad times I've been through, like it's taken me a long time to think that way, but after talking to counsellors and therapists, I accept my demons, I accept my failures. I accept my wrongdoings, because there is no yin without yang. They don't exist without each other. No. So all of the things I've got wrong, all of the mistakes I've made, all of the things that I got into when I was younger, when I left motocross, but it's taken me a long time to not regret it. I now look at it and I go, you know what, all of that was supposed to happen.
There was your path, dude.
Because I'm now the person I am now. So if my daughter comes up to me at 16, 17 years old and she's like, Dad, I feel shit and I'm having these thoughts, I can actually tell her. I can advise her. I can like, you know, well, I did this when I was younger, darling. I've done that. I'm not going to tell you not to do it. But it's probably not the right thing to do. And I can safely say, no matter what she gets herself into, I've fucking been there. I've been there. I've done it. I've seen the bottom of the barrel. And, you know, I've drunk and partied and raved and DJ for 20 years. Still do DJ now, and that comes with with everything else around it. But now, instead of regretting it, I look at it and I go, thank God that happened.
Yeah.
Because again, if my daughter comes up to me when she's 16, 17 and she's like, well, you know, this guy or this girl's offered me this in school, what is it? Well, I can actually give her an educated opinion. You know, so I've learnt now that all the mistakes, everything that's gone wrong in my life, I'm thankful for.
You've got to think you've lived as well, you know, like
for sure.
You know, like to live, you make mistakes. You know, like everyone's fucked up. You know, people fuck up all the time, but the only way that you're doing that is by taking a chance to live. You know, the people that aren't fucking up on a weekly basis are the people that are just literally just existing. You know, like not really living. So I definitely think that's. You know, that's one thing, you know, like to make the mistakes you got to live. And then also like I was also like when my thing I went to was painkillers. It was like the gnarliest thing. Like I had a real bad surgery. I had like a kink in an artery. Yeah, it was gnarly from cycling, from so many years of training for motocross cycling. My leg kept going dead when I was racing. I was like, fuck, I can't even stand up because my leg's dead, and they found this problem. So anyway, I had the surgery, and always like I said, this thing inside of me that eats at me like all the time. I've got something consciously like eating at me, and then if I injure myself, it's like, fuck, when can I get back on a bike? Like it's like I don't know, maybe like an anxiety feeling. I don't know what the feeling is. And for the first time in my life, I didn't have this. I'm like, fucking hell, like what's going on here? Like I'm happy. Like I don't mind sitting here and not racing, you know, like, like what the hell? And dude, the first time, it was like as if I was walking around with a bag of bricks on. And somebody had taken the bricks away. So I'm like, I don't know what it was, right? So I'm just thinking, obviously you go into hospitals, you get painkillers, fucking whatever, like you always do, you know? So I'm like, fucking, like life is pretty good, and like I feel buzzed all the time, and I'm feeling light, and this thing's gone away. And then eventually you realize, fuck, it's these painkillers. It's like being pissed all the time, was, you know, like being on that like level. So then you're like, this is actually pretty fucking good, you know, like this feeling is nice, dude. Like I don't have this thing eating at me all the time. And then eventually, dude, like, you know, like obviously I speak in my group with all these guys that have quit racing and stuff, and a lot of people go into depressions, but that was the route I took. And then it got to a point where eventually it starts to take your life over, and you're like, right, something's got to change here. So as you know, it's not easy, like fucking coming off that shit. So but you do it because I think motocross as well, you go through a lot of shit, so you've got the strength to kind of do it. So I've done that like 2 or 3 times, but you know, you kind of, you know, the thing that you miss, it's that like when you miss racing, like it took that all away. Like when I used to coach, and I used to be at a motocross track, and there's like good riders there doing motos, like I used to want to like just punch a wall, you know, like, and that was gone like completely, you know. But then a good friend explained to me, he's like, dude, what you got to think with stuff like that and drugs in general, it's like carrying a monkey on your back. Everything you put good into yourself, you're feeding that monkey as well. So you're not getting everything good, you know, you're just carrying the monkey. And then, you know, so I've broken that a few times.
To express it, man.
But then like I kind of like, now that I've been through that, and you know, like I've been on it and I've come off it, broke it so many times, you know, like when I see somebody on the floor jonesing for drugs, and everyone's like, what the fuck, like sort yourself out, like I can sympathize with that guy because I know how he's feeling. And you know, that's the hardest thing in the world. It's like, it's hard, man, like to come,
really tough, man, you
know, like, and that's what I think is cool. Like I've lived a life partying, you know, like the lot, dude, and I feel like I can relate to like a lot of different people and treat everyone the same. And something that was my job, like I met like the main person of Fox, like the highest dude that there is, and dude, like I spoke to him like I'm speaking to you right now, because I don't know how to treat anyone differently. If somebody's on the side of the street on the floor, I'm going to speak to them the same as I'm going to speak to you, and I'm going to speak to the person that owns the business exactly the same. And the guy was like stoked, you know, he was like, because he said to my boss, he's like, yeah, the guy's calling me dude, and my boss was like, oh, sorry about that. He's like, no, I digged it, it's fucking cool, like the guy leveled with me, you know, like, and I think like that's something that racing teaches you, you know, like you learn to socialize and you empathize with people. Like I've had loads of money, I've had I've had money where I couldn't eat. When I first came over here, there was days where I did not eat, and that's no bullshit, dude. Like days I went hungry. I drove to Mildenhall once, got to Mildenhall because I had to put 10 pounds extra diesel because I got lost. I didn't have money to ride and I had to drive home again. So I've lived like that, and then I've lived years when I can just fucking spend on what I can buy bicycles, I can do whatever I want, you know. So I think that's really cool, where you know you've seen it all, dude. Like you've lived like the people you hang out with at motocross, dude. Like they're probably like the naughtiest kids in school, you know. But then you socialize with other families that have got like campers that are worth more than your house is worth. You learn to like socialize in a very broad. And you know what kids grow up do that? They don't, dude. You cannot. Kids, you like, it's something you can't teach. It's like a lifestyle that you kind of learn. It's a very special kind of thing, I think.
I had a chat with I think it was Ben when the first time he came, and it was like people were helping each other, and it was like I'll lend you a tyre, and it was this and that, and what do you need, mate? Like van next year, what do you need, mate? What do you need? I explained it as like, it's like because what we're doing out there is so frightening, and we've all got this, whether it's subliminal or whether it's conscious, respect for each other. Whether it's subliminal or what, I don't know, but I think that's what it is. We just all have a mutual respect. So we all kind of get on. We learn to get on because of what we're doing out there on the dirt. Whether you're John Smith, who's a weekend warrior, or whether you're Peter Pro, do you know what I mean? Whoever it is, you have a common ground of, we're doing something scary.
And so, everyone's in it together kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure, man.
The cool thing about that is I found like the respect that you get for someone. So I stayed with UC Vivalene quite a bit, and Yoshi Atsuda and Paul Cooper, like all those kind of guys. And then good example was UC, like that dude was hardcore as hell. Like you could break a bone or dislocate a shoulder or do anything, he could say, okay, you can race to that, you can't race to that. Like he was gnarly as But like a good example was we were practicing on a Wednesday, and he completely fucked his shoulder, dude. Like he tore he fell off the back of the bike went away from him. He ripped everything in his shoulder. His whole muscle had snapped in the back of his shoulder. So he's fucked.
Jesus Christ.
So we go to a supercross race in Belfast that weekend. And those are the days when you used to get paid good start money. So he's like, fucking, he hasn't got a lot of money, you know. So it's like, fuck, you know, you have to do stuff for money sometimes. So we go to the supercross, gets his start money. I would say 98 other people would either fake a crash in practice or fucking do the first race and pull out. Dude, he did both of the nights, finished every single race with a muscle that's detached.
That's mine. It's mine power,
but like,
man.
but that's what you call like the salt of a person. He wasn't going to take the piss out of that guy giving him the start money, because the guy paid him. So he did. I don't even know. Like obviously, he wasn't like where he'd normally be, but he made the final, and he finished every lap of that final. You know, and then so going back to what I was saying, then like I didn't see him for about 6 or 7 years. Then I saw him at the Des Nations one year, and it's like seeing your best friend, dude. And he's the same for you know, like when you can see like the respect is there, and you actually genuinely miss the guy because you've been through shit together, you know. Like we've ran away from fucking people trying to kill us in Belfast together. Literally, fucking ran for our lives with that guy. And then when you see them again, it's like, oh my God, you know, like we're still alive, we're still fucking you know, like I don't think you really get that, like, you know, the respect that you gain between, like, you know. And when I raced him, like before we were teammates, like he was on Cass and I was on Suzuki, and like we had some hard races together, you know, but you build a respect thing, and I think
totally, man,
in sports and that kind of thing, the respect thing is massive.
Where did it all start for you? How did the journey start?
So my parents were actually Irish.
Right.
My mum and my dad were Irish, and they moved to South Africa, and then I was born out there. My dad worked for Suzuki in South Africa. He was the parts manager.
Right.
So I think maybe like 1988, 1989, basically when I was 5 or 6, he got me a bike, and then just started racing like locally in South Africa, did a few races, and then fuck dude, like literally loved it from the start, you know, like every day after school I had a little track in my garden, rode every single day, and then just kind of progressed through, you know, like onto 80s, did the South African, obviously all my racing was in South Africa until I came over here.
What was the schoolboy scene like in South Africa?
Yeah, dude, like if you look at it, there's a lot of good guys that came from like my era. So like Grant Langston was my era, Tyler Rattray, Gareth Swanepoel, Wyatt Avis, Jared Diaga, Stephen
Grant Langston was amazing.
Yeah, he was good.
Wow.
Grant is always like a... It was quite funny, like I was saying earlier, me and Grant were always like the last two left at a motocross race.
Right.
Because his dad also liked a couple of drinks, so we were always like walking around picking chair off together and stuff. So like, yeah, no, it was good. Like there was... The tracks in South Africa are very technical, like lots of jumps, dude, like gnarly jumps. So we definitely built like some technical riders, and racing in the 90s was still pretty good in South Africa. Like there was still a lot of guys doing it. So a lot of guys had moved. So like Albertine was the first one. Then there was a big group went. So Grant went. Then Tyler Rattray went. Avis went. Swanepoel went. And those are the guys I was racing with. So they'd all gone, and I was left in South Africa.
Right.
And then a guy had come back. I don't know if you remember Ryan Hunt. Was he around at your time?
Hunt. I recognise the name.
So he was a South African guy that moved to England and won some British championships and stuff. Like he was a GP rider. He'd moved back to South Africa.
Right.
So there was him, and then maybe like 2 or 3 other South African guys out there, good riders. So it was always my dream to come and race in Europe, but fuck, dude, like my dad had already left when I was like 16, so just me and my mom.
Right.
And like, dude, my mom had like 3 jobs just to kind of keep us racing. So I was like, there's no ways that fucking, because everyone that left went to sponsors, went to their family. You know, so I was like, this ain't gonna happen. So eventually I got to beat that guy, Ryan. So he was the best in South Africa. He went like 2 seasons undefeated, so I was the first guy to beat him. And then won some races, and then fuck, I actually got a chance to come and do a supercross over here, and did pretty good at that.
Whereabouts?
Sheffield.
I raced the Sheffield
Supercross. And the first one, obviously coming from South Africa where the tracks are super technical, that was quite easy for me, you know. So I think I don't know if I got 3rd or 4th in my first one, but then people were like, fuck, never heard of this guy, he's got a good start on a bike. So that was kind of like my first chance to come and do that supercross. And then so then I got asked to do a British Championship race in 2003. Cool. And dude, I was like, fuck, there's no ways I'm going to qualify for this. Like, because I've obviously been in South Africa, you hear the pace and how good these guys are. So like, fuck, this is gnarly. So dude, managed to get into the, I was just, dude, if you look at the thing, if you look at the qualifying sheet, there was 57 riders trying to qualify. It was on the Isle of Wight. And like all the GP guys are there because they wanted to make it a big event, so they paid like the Ruver, Eggins, Rattray, Townley, I think. So it was quite a stacked event, and if you look at the sheet, I did the most laps out of anyone in qualifying just to make sure that I got a time in.
Quality.
So anyway, I managed to qualify for that. And then dude, the second mod I finished 11th. Fucking got an 11th in my first go there, but I was very lucky because the Isle of Wight track was a very South African style track, lots of jumps, and so I got 11th in the second mod, and I was racing with like Adam Lyons, Danny Smart, Jody Smart. So then the guy was like, fucking hell dude, fair play, your first go, like you were top 10 speed, because obviously there was a lot of wild cards there as well that don't normally do the British, so I was kind of like within the top 10. And yeah, that's how that happened, dude. So then I got a deal for the next year, like no money, but got bikes, could keep my prize money, got some bonus money. Yeah, and that's how it started, dude. Like, so that's how the journey began. But
yeah, man, it's awesome, mate. It's great to hear the story, man. So when you first came out, when you first came over here, did you come over on your own? Was it something that you did on your own?
Yeah, dude, like completely on my own. So when I got,
wow, man, that must have been tough.
Yeah,
man.
Dude, it's
Jesus.
That's one thing. Like, there were so many times I almost went home. You know, like when you got no food or you got no friends, and
mate, it must have been so.
Or if you have a bad race,
just being in a country where you don't really know many people.
And I moved to Scotland, dude, so it rained every day. The
miserable, beautiful place, but miserable weather,
man. It rained like every day, and then I went to that year. I went to the first British, and it rained the whole weekend, and I finished like 16th, and I'm like, fuck, what am I doing here, dude? This sucks. Like, I could be in South Africa winning or finishing top 3.
Freezing, rain,
you know,
horrible.
So it was pretty hard, but I mean, I came on my own, so I sold everything out. So when I got that ride, so got the opportunity, I'm like, right, I need to at least give this a shot and see if I can do it. Sold everything I had, did a lot of training schools, paid for my ticket, and I had, so after I'd sold everything, I had £700 when I got here. 700 quid, dude. Man. After I'd sold all my shit, I'm like, right, let's have a go. And fuck yeah, dude, just hustled, man. Like, it wasn't easy, like, at all, but I kind of got to the point where it's like, this is fucking shit, but I'm here and I'm gonna fucking make this happen, dude. Yeah, and I went from that year, at the first round, so I finished 14th or 16th at Canada Hearts. And by the last round of that year, I was on the podium at the British Championship.
Amazing.
I finished third at the last round.
Amazing. Man.
But dude, I was like desperate. Like, that's the only way I can just like motos, just like motos. I tag onto anyone. Like when I first got here, just to see my speed, like I just hang on to anyone.
Yeah.
You know, like Paul Cooper used to do all my training, and like, dude, like to a T. I remember once I broke my foot, and I had like a cast and shit on. I was still training on the bicycle on the road with a cast on, and the boys from Motivision were like, "The fuck are you doing?" But I was just like, I was desperate to make it, you know. And a lot of people in South Africa, they said I wouldn't.
Yeah.
They were like, "Nah, fuck, dude. He's like, he'll be back. Like, he'll be gone for like 3 months." And it was so good, dude, to hear that. Like, man. I needed to hear that. So I was like, and even now, you know, like now, like I don't ride professionally, but like, you know, I've got a good following, I put out some good content and stuff, and then I look at those guys that made those comments and I'm like, you know, it's different, you know, like I made it to a level that those guys never did themselves and never thought I would. You know, like I raced for the country like 6 or 7 times at Des Nations. You know, like I won 3 Red Bull Pro Nationals titles. You know, like
amazing,
as
man,
much as I could have had a much better career. And like when I finished it, I wasn't.
We can always do better at anything we do.
But I wasn't content with it when I was done, dude. Like I was like, fuck, I never won an actual British Championship. I was always second in the actual British Championship. It's like, fuck, I should have won one of them. And you know, when I was doing GPs, I should have had some top 10s at GPs. And now that I'm older, I got experience, and I look back and I think, fuck, you did good, dude. Man, you did good to kind of get to where you got to with how like things were kind of like
from nothing,
from absolutely nothing, from nothing, dude. Yeah.
And that's probably fucking giving you something really strong inside yourself.
Yeah,
doing it with nothing.
I think, and it teaches you, you know, like, and you can see it in other people. Like when I meet other people that I can see have got pain in them, or you can tell they've had a different path. You know, you can feel it in someone. You meet someone for the first time and you can kind of work it out, and I'm drawn to people like that.
100%.
Like, I'm drawn to broken people and damaged people. And
it's their frequency, mate.
And it's kids, you know what's weird is kids, like, as a broken person as I am, like, kids like me. Yeah. It's weird, like not being there in a fucking funny way or whatever, but like I'll meet like these adopted kids that have had a fucked up life, and they'll always run up to me, and it's the weird kind of bond you have with them, you know, like they don't have with any other grown-ups. And I don't know whether it's the vibe I put off, or
it's 100%
the vibe I feel from them.
100% that. I could bore the tears off of a glass eye, mate, with frequencies and vibrations. I could probably freak you out a little bit, but I believe in it, man.
I do massively.
Everything on our planet has a frequency. It runs with a hertz. Everything from a flower to a rock. That's factual. That's not that. Everything has a frequency. And I see it as, because I used to produce music, when you produce a song, the bass has to sit in a certain frequency. The kick drum has to sit in a certain frequency. The hi-hat, the snares, everything has to sit in its window.
Right.
And that's what I think when someone walks into a room and you're like, whoa, I'm not sure about them. That's the frequency they're giving away. It's the vibe. When people say the vibe, like, they think it's a hippie thing, but it ain't. It's your vibe. It's your frequency, man. And people might think I'm freaky about saying that, but I really do believe that. It's the same with music. If the bass ain't in the right area,
it's not gonna
it sounds muddy.
And it's always right, dude. I find the first initial vibe is always like, that's the one to go on, dude.
100%, man. Sometimes you get it wrong. Sometimes you can meet someone and you get, but I'd probably say 98% of the time, your gut's probably telling you the right thing.
It's the right thing.
So growing up as a young athlete, trying to make it into the profession, making it over that professional line, so many hurdles come. So many hurdles come. What did you find growing up, trying to become something in your sport? What did you find the hardest? What was your biggest hurdles? And how did you deal with them? Mentally, physically, how did you get past them?
I think money was the biggest thing. Like, we were always never had the good stuff, you know, like, and the people you're racing always had the better bikes. You know, So I think financially, and then always like when you hear your parents talking, like my dad was always like phoning my mom up, oh, we need to put some money in my account, we can't pay for fuel, and it's like, fuck. You know, like you don't really see it at the time, but it's like, it's quite a naughty thing. I think financial stuff was the biggest. Then like my relationship with my dad was hard because it was just like nothing was ever good enough, and then, you know, then when he's pissed and he's talking shit to you because he's pissed, and he's pissed off with your racing, and he's pissed on top of it, so you fucking get into bashing of node, and you just like, so that was pretty hard, like growing up and stuff. But I think just my love for the sport and like my ambition about that, I really wanted to make it happen. That was something that kept me in it. As I said, the amount of times I said, fuck it, I'm done with this, like there's something better in life than this. So that was pretty tough. And then obviously, like when you get to a level and everyone's good and you got to try search for that, you know, in England, like when I was doing the Red Bull Pro Nationals, there was like 5 or 6 of us that could have won. And then I always found like it was the work I put in for the winter months that always carried me through, because I'd always be consistent through a season where everyone else would like peak and trough. And dude, like I worked from probably 1999 when I got a trainer. Like I have put like big time into seasons, you know. That's one thing Paul Cooper taught me as well, like, and all of those old school guys, they were like religious on their training. And it's something, dude, like if I had to do 25 hours a week, I was doing 25 hours a week. And that built like such a base for me to, you know, that's why I won a lot of championships, is because, you know, like I wasn't winning all the motos, but I was always in the top 3 and I could do it every single moto. Every single moto, dude, like whether they had to come from the back or whatever, I'd built such a base. And another thing I think worked in my favor was when you work that hard, I'm a massive believer in things fall your way. And I had a lot of championships fall my way, where I was consistent, you know, I never really rode out of my, and that's all from that hard work that I invested at the start, you know. But going back to the original question, I think definitely, you know, the financial side, but then it also put a massive chip on my shoulder. And then that's another thing where I wish I didn't have that chip, and then but I needed the chip. But now I wish I didn't have it, because I still got the chip now. You know, like when I was racing, you know, I could mention names, I'm not going to mention names, but when I was racing loads of rich kids and stuff, like I was fucking hell-bent on being them. Like I didn't care, man. I was like, and you could see it, you know, and like
it's a natural
I took it beyond, you know, like it was like, it actually gives me like a board in my stomach now. I've been thinking about it, but I was like, and still now, you know, I still see it now, and it still motivates me massively now to like, you know, people that get shit easily, and you think like, you know, fuck, when you used to like fill up a van and it's like, Jesus, like, you know, it's a mission, dude, like where's this money going to come from to put this diesel in, and how am I going to go riding, and where am I going to find 30 quid to ride, and you know, like I'm going to, and there was another thing, like with the racing, is like I had to be top 5 in every single moto. Even once I got my wage, because like the first few years you like on 10 grand or whatever, so it's like £1,000 a month. So that doesn't pay for much, dude. So every single British Championship moto I had to be top 5, because that would pay my mortgage, you know, make life a bit more comfortable. And still then, dude, when you're in 8th place and you can see 5th place, fucking, you know, you're going to 5th place, you know, like
get at it,
you know. And it's not like I couldn't phone my mom, I couldn't phone my dad and be like, oh, I got no money, can you sort me out some money? It was like, dude, like you go make it on the weekends, you know. And that's what's, you know, like going into normal life, that's what's hard, you know. Like I had weekends where you could make 2 grand on a weekend. Now it's like, dude, that's your fucking wage. And it's, again, where I go back to the having it in your control, like making money was in your hands, you know. You want to hang it out on the weekend, you put your work in, you win a race, you're going to make money. It's in your control, you know, like so it goes a little bit out of your control. But yeah, I think the biggest thing, going back to the question, the biggest thing is, first of all, seeing you can do it. Like I always believed that if I got the chance I would, and then never losing on the bad days, never losing that vision of what you envision yourself being and how you envision your life could be if you go through this hard part and things work out. That's going to be cool. You know, like if you quit now, everything you've done up till that point. And dude, I was literally, my friend was with me, he was mechanicking, and we got into like a big fight with this dude, and fucking there was punches thrown, and he was like, he packed his bag, I packed my bag, and he walked out to go to get a taxi to the like the airport, and I had my bag. We're like, fuck, dude, I'm out. This is bullshit. Like, we're gonna get killed here. And he was like, no, don't. I'm like, no, dude, I'm going. I can't do this. He's like, fuck, dude, you need to make it for us. Like, all my homies in Benoni. He said, fucking stay. Like, you are the one dude that will make it. Just stay. Fucking took my bag inside. He left. Went back to South Africa. I stayed. And then if you look back now, he's like, the dude's like so proud, you know. He's like,
amazing, man. Everyone needs friends like that.
Yeah. But he could have easily been, fucking dude, let's bounce, you know. He was like, he could see it wasn't easy for me because he lived with me. And he was like, I'm going because fucking, like, I'm not going to make it as a motocross rider. But you need to stay.
Fair play to him, man.
No, it was good.
Life could have been very different.
Dude, if I went in that plane, like a completely different life.
Wouldn't it? It would have been done, man. Crazy, man. I think that coming from a background of having nothing, again, it's something that's installed me with a lot. We was having a conversation the other day. She said to me, she said, how do you carry on? Like, how do you, like, you get a business idea or you go to a race or whatever, how do you keep going? If you're feeling shit, how do you keep going to keep working towards your goal? And I said to her, because I've got a mentality where I have to. Because there was times in my life where I didn't have a choice. I had to.
There's no choice.
I had to. Like, I was on the building site at 14, so I was racing nationals. I was working on the building site 5 days a week and then going to race a national. Because I had to.
Do that.
I had to go on the building site. I had to earn money. So that has now installed something in me where I have ambition and drive, not for any other reason, because I had to have it a long time ago.
That's not an option.
And I still have it. I'm not, you know, I'm not rich by a long shot. I'm overdrawn at the minute, but it don't stall me.
No.
Because when you're in that place, like you say, you have nothing. You have £700 in the bank. And you've got nothing. You have to go work.
You got to make it happen.
There's no oh well, maybe. No, you got.
Like when a fifth place finish means that your house is getting paid and you can live. You're gonna get a fifth place finish.
You got to. There's no choice.
It's like anything. Like, if you're not given a choice, it's what you have to do. And I think, like, those early lessons definitely install, and you learn to like respect stuff as well. You know, like when you we'd go like seasons on a set of kit or 2 sets of kit or whatever, and like tires. Like now, even like I was a little bit more fussy when I was racing, but now, dude, people give me bikes. Fucking doesn't matter what bars on them, what suspensions on them, and you just ride the hell out of them. And everyone's like, you haven't even set that up, you just jumped on it. And like Farley, dude, I literally get on that bike in the morning
and just go.
Doesn't matter what.
I'm saying,
you know, like, and people are like, how do you ride these things? And you know, like everyone says to me, how the fuck do you ride these old bikes so fast? And it's because
just get on them.
We never had suspension. Like when we got an RM80, that was it, dude. Like this, whatever suspension that came with, we didn't revalve, we didn't do.
Just get on and go.
Fucking ride it.
Change
dude,
the clutch, bang the clutch down.
It, dude,
not even undo it, bang it down. So moving on, with, like, connecting to that question that we just asked, what did you do when you was at the peak of your career, or even when you was trying to make it? What did you do to keep yourself mentally fit? What did you do to keep yourself physically fit? And did both of them work for each other? If you kept yourself physically fit, did that help with your mentality?
100%, dude. So it was big winters, so we always had like a 3-month. We do like a 3-month base training program. So that was normally between 15 and 25 hours a week. So you do that for like 3 months. Then you start riding in South Africa, because I'd always go home and do my training out there in the sun. Then you start riding at home a little bit, then come back to Europe, and then we'd always go to Spain, and then dude, it's gnarly. Like every day is like warm up, qualifying, 2 30-minute motos, sprint lap days. Jesus. You know, and it's something I think like I could have been better at, because like I just put like massive workloads in all the time, where I think I could have broken it down and been more specialist, and you know, like worked on stuff that I think I was weak on, where I was just like every day needs to be motos, you know. I should have been like more speed work, technique work, you know, a few things that I think, but I was always, if I didn't ride a motorbike for an hour and 20 minutes in a day, I felt guilty. Like I felt like I was cutting myself short. So I was always making sure I was putting like big motors in and stuff, and just like, dude, always, like I said before, like I was a big believer in the harder you work, the luckier you get. And dude, I was living, like I won the first Red Bull championship that I won. I came from like, came from like way behind in the championship, like a long way back. Worked my way through the season. We went into the last moto and I was like 6 points behind still. So there wasn't much of a chance I was going to win it. You know, like I'd won like quite a few motos going into it, like once I got my vibe going. And the dude that was second in the championship got passed on the last corner of the last lap. And that pass meant that we tied on points. And then because I had more race wins, I won the championship.
Oh, nice.
And shit like that, dude. And then another one came at Cullum, came down to the wire with myself and Stephen Lenoir, the kid that passed away, the French kid.
Right, okay.
And dude, like, I put myself in a position, won that again, like on the last moto, on the last lap, won that. And stuff like that, I look back and the only thing I can put that to is like working your ass off every single day. You know, like I look at it and I've always had like a phobia about being fat. Like my whole life I thought I was fat. And I look at memories, like actually in the way I was looking at a memory, I'm like, fuck dude, I thought I was fat in that photo, and literally you can just see muscle like everywhere, like lean edge, like collarbone, ribs, everything. You know, and that was just like every day, dude, that was it. Like every day we're doing something. When we go ride Mildenhall, I said Mildenhall every Tuesday, every Thursday doing motos. When something was wrong, I'd fucking throw my toys out the cot. Not because I'm being an arsehole, it was because this bike needs to be better. This bike needs to be the way I can ride it, how I need to ride. So then we go testing. When we could get the guys out to test, that was always a mission. I hate it. Fuck, that's one thing I'm glad I don't have to do. So getting the mechanics out to test, to change stuff, you know, always making stuff better. But dude, it's like a constant job, you know, like when you get to that level, you know, like I got to a level where I was pretty much top 3 in the British Championship, and I moved to MX2 class for like 5 or 6 years there, and then I'd win like the domestic stuff. So if there was like a British Masters, I won that championship quite a bit. Red Bull Pro Nationals, I won quite a bit. MX Nationals, I won quite a bit. So when the GP riders that did the British went back to the GPs and we did domestic, I could win then. But it was, I could never, you know, like I was always second or third overall in the British Championship. I could never win that British Championship. There's always somebody that was a little bit better. But then
Nunny.
Nunny,
Nunny was always,
he's a special, like Nunny's a special too. I raced Nunny, so his last couple of years I raced him. And then even to be racing someone like Carl, because obviously when I was in South Africa and I used to follow Grant Langston's career, and even Grant came back and said, like, there's this British kid called Carl Nunn, and fuck, on his day, dude, like he's insane. So always stuck in my mind. And then, you know, like 5 or 6 years later, me and Carl used to race quite a bit in the 250 class, and you're like, it's pretty gnarly. And that was a big thing as well, coming from South Africa. All these people, these names you hear, and people you look up to, and you're like, fuck, I'm racing with these guys now. Like one of them was Mark Brown. Brownie was like my ultimate hero, watching him in America. And like I was like, if I ever got onto a track with Mark Brown, he'd be like at least 10 seconds left quicker, at least. So the second year I was over here, we were in Spain, testing in Spain, and Brownie was there. I remember doing a moto, looking over, fuck, he's there. Next lap he's there, next lap he's there.
Brilliant.
Fuck dude, I paced him for 30 minutes and literally put my bike on the stand, asked the team mechanic, because I didn't have any money on my cell phone, phoned my buddies, and I'm like, dude, you're not gonna fucking believe this. He's like, what?
Quality.
I said, I stayed with Mark Brown for 30 minutes, and they're like, bullshit. I'm like, fucking no lies, dude. And I don't know if they believe me or not, but then like a year later, like I beat Brownie in the first few British, you know, and it's like, how did you get from this guy being like some, you know, guy, you know, like you put him up on the pedestal to actually racing against these guys? That was the biggest. And then like the older I get now, like I realize everyone's just a person riding motorbikes. There's 100%. No special
100%.
You know, the people that work hard are good, and the people that don't will just be average. But everyone is just a human being working towards racing a motorbike. Like at the time, like when I did these nations, I was always like the weak link in the team. So South Africa had like a good team. So like my first go, somebody actually got hurt. So it was Gareth Tornapool, Tyler Rattray, and myself. So I was kind of like lucky where the pressure wasn't on me, it was more on them. but fuck, I did well, you know. Like I think I beat Gareth in one of them. I definitely beat him in one, but I held my own, and they were like surprised. They were like, amazing, fuck me, dude, you actually did pretty well. I think I finished like 13th or 12th or 13th in a motor.
It's so powerful, man, when you get that call. Like, how did you deal with it? How did you like keep yourself?
The pressure was
in the right mental space, you know.
Like the pressure is pretty hard. Like I think I've done 7, and every single one I've done
7. Wow,
7 destinations, and every single one I've done, I think I've done the country justice.
Yeah.
And then there's one where I actually went in with a shoulder injury, crashed on the first lap of practice and fucked my shoulder, and that's the last one I'd done. And dude, I felt like I'd let the entire country down. And I was like,
having the weight of that on your shoulders.
It's heavy, dude. But
how did you deal with it mentally? How did you?
Dude, I just kind of like, I realized I took all the good ones that I've done for them, and then I was kind of like, fucking, I'm allowed one bad one, you know what I mean? Like, I've done 5 good ones, you know, held the team high, like represented the country to a great level. You know, and I think the South African people that knew me kind of were like, I can't believe fucking Neville's got to this level, you know. So like a lot of them kind of like backed kind of what I was doing and stuff.
What advice would you give to a youngster coming up, and what advice would you give to an older rider thinking about coming back?
I think like the advice is pretty much the same for both really, and that is just enjoy it. I think racing is at a point now where there's maybe like if even 1% of the population will make a career out of racing motorbikes. So the way I look at it now is, why don't you just enjoy the process of it?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to make money from it, let's be honest. Like there's probably in the British Championship now, the whole British Championship, there's probably 3 or 4 people making money.
Yeah.
You know, so why don't you, you know, obviously work hard at it, set some goals, try to smash the goals, but the main thing to take away from it is experience. You know, because when you get on in life, it's something you look back on and think that was the best times of my life.
Yeah.
And then,
like,
you know,
we just have.
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
And as the parents as well, you know, for all the people starting and the parents especially, like, enjoy the journey with your kids. You know, like I see so much pressure on these kids, and you know, it sounds shit to say, but your kid's not going to be the next Jeffrey Hurlings. You know, like there's a very, very slim chance of that, you know. And the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to get to the end of the journey and they're going to resent you for ruining that time. You know, so like rather just like, you know, spend the time. It's quality time that you spend with your family. Like you're teaching them good work ethic. They're learning to try as hard as they can through races. You know, they're learning not to give up. You know, same as the kids, you know, like put everything you have into it, but realize that, you know, like chase the dream, you know, but don't put all your eggs in that basket. You know, like if you go back 10 or 15 years, I'd say there was a good chance, but now the chances are very slim. You know, like you see kids, talented kids that can win British Championship motors, can't even get free bikes anymore, you know.
Yeah.
So like I would say as advice, work hard, but most of all enjoy the process of it.
Yeah. What about the older rider?
Yeah, again, dude, just enjoy, like get back into it. If it's something that you enjoy doing, you know, just set yourself little goals, you know, like ride. But the biggest thing is to kind of find what gives you the best satisfaction. For me, it's riding 2 strokes. Like that's where I feel the most fun. 1 to 5 2 strokes, that is pure motocross riding for me. So, you know, like I'll have hard days like I had today where I'm getting ready for stuff like that, but like every 3rd or 4th ride I need to go ride a 125 to remind myself why I'm doing this, you know, because you can easily get lost in days like that where I don't get paid to do this anymore, but I'm doing a job, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, so find something that you enjoy, you know, like if you enjoy riding 2 strokes, if you enjoy riding 450s, find something you enjoy, work hard at that, and then just try to see progression, you know, like one weekend get a result and, you know, say pick somebody 3 up from you, say right, next time I want to try to beat that guy, and you'll find fulfillment in that, you know, like setting yourself little goals and you know, working hard to get to kind of where you want to be, type of thing. Yeah,
for sure. What it's done for me, I mean, what I'd probably say to an older rider is, if you've raced and you've been away from it for a long time, just go and get a bike.
Yeah.
Just go and get a bike. It's
just
something cheap.
Yeah.
Saying it ain't going to cost you a lot of money. just ride.
Yeah.
Just ride, especially if you're struggling with any mental health or anxieties. Go and get a bike.
Oh yeah, oh dude.
Go and get a bike, get in the gym, cycle, whatever your passion is, whatever your thing is, start doing it again.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
Start doing it again.
Because it takes once and then you realise, fuck, that's what's missing in my life, or this makes me feel like myself again, or but you'll never get that feeling again unless you do something like that, you know.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, like it is kind of like you say do it, but when you do it, like you've got the bug again, don't you? Like you see yourself, but it's worth it, you know. Like it's worth that good feeling, because you're not going to live forever, you know. Like you I think the saddest thing people can do is look back in life and think, I wish I'd done that, or should have done that. And that's one thing I can look, like I've done some fucked up stuff.
Yeah.
At the time, and you're like, fuck, are we actually doing this? And like,
I watched that bomb hole the other day. That bomb hole you jumped in Spain.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, dude, that was like, yeah.
That was gnarly, man, especially on the big five.
There was like chasing, I don't know what that's chasing. That's weird now, dude. Like even mountain biking and stuff. Like if I go back 10 years, I do some jumps, but there's a lot of shit I wouldn't do.
Yeah.
Now I just fucking send. I don't even think twice, dude. I don't know what it is. Like I look at stuff and my friends are like, nah, and you're like, fuck it.
Just go.
If I see somebody do something, like I'm a big believer in that. If I see somebody do something,
I've got to do
done,
it,
dude. Yeah, it's fucking happening.
Yeah, if someone's doing it, I can do it. That's as simple as that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, you know, like we are here not just to work, and you know, we are here to live. Like that's one balance that I'm really glad that how I have is like I put a lot of emphasis on living.
Yeah.
Like that's the first thing. Like I want to live, and as long as I can make enough money to kind of keep the lights on, keep the kids sweet, that's all that matters to me, dude. Like happiness is a big thing to me.
And I think your family, your wife, your kids will radiate that from you.
Yeah.
And they'll become that as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You know.
You know, like weekends, like Friday Castle, where my kids come and watch this Friday Castle, and they see their dad on a podium, and everyone coming to speak to me, and then. You know, even at the school, like there's some of the kids race, and the way that the kids treat you, you know, it's cool for your kids to see. They're like, fuck, my dad must have done something cool. He's like, these kids like look up to him and stuff. You know, it's.
I was talking to my friend Dodds, who I work for. He's my boss, but I've worked with him for 3 years, but he's been one of my best friends for 15.
Yeah.
And we was talking about it the other day, and I'd phoned him up and I was telling him about the TM offer and the TM deal. Like, we're just going into a partnership with creating a delivery barbecue food business out of my house, and it's going to be Friday and Saturdays. So we was talking, I said, like, you know, I've been offered this deal, like it's incredible. It's like not, you know, it's not far from what I had when I was a kid, and like it's exciting. I've got to race with the kids, race with all of the better riders, and you know, I'm not sure. It's 7 weekends. I've got like 2 days. I'm not sure whether I can commit. And he just said, he was like, mate, he said, don't worry about the business, we'll sort that.
Yeah.
That's fine, we can organise it and sort it out. He said, but this is your chance to relive it. For one, and get to feel it again. Feel what it does for me. And not like only that, he said, Ruby, my daughter, he said, she's gonna now, it was powerful, it's a lump in my throat now saying it, like, she's gonna now see her dad do what he's the best at.
He's best thing.
And there's not, like I said it to my wife, and she was like, that's powerful, and it really is, like, my daughter's actually going to see, instead of me telling her when she's 16, oh, dad used to ride bikes, I was alright at it.
She's going to be in it.
She's now going to be in it and see me doing it, and that for me is special, man. That's powerful. It's really, really powerful.
It is, like, for a kid to see their dad do something cool like that must be
what they're the best at, what they're great
and to see at. Like the energy that you give out after it, you know, like how you buzz and the energy it's good for like the kids to be around, because they see like a different side to you being doing something that you
instead of getting home from work, you just had 9 hours behind the computer, and you're miserable. Not miserable, but you've not got much left after 8 hours at work, have you?
No.
You know, but obviously at the track he sees you buzzing and talking to everyone. That's great for him,
and that's a great memory for them.
It's great.
Like your dad does something cool, and something to aspire to.
Amazing, man. Like my dad can, like, when my dad talks about football, my dad played at a very, very high standard, but I remember it. it's not just stories.
Yeah, you can remember.
I was the mascot.
Yeah.
I was the team mascot, and I'd go there in my little kit, but I remember that. It's not just a story.
Like these sort of memories are stuff that stays with you for life, dude.
100%.
Or I can remember like racing 50s and stuff still. I can literally still remember those days, racing 50s and all that shit.
I'm gutted that all of my memories of motocross are so splintered. I don't even remember the day I gave up. I don't remember the year I broke my arms, and it's really splintered.
Oh, is it?
Just because I completely disconnected just because I had to live. I couldn't live with it still in my life. It had to disappear
completely.
So all of my memories, and obviously the partying and the sleepless nights that I've had over the years, that ain't helped either. But I hate the fact that I don't remember.
Dude, I'm weird because I can remember everything like that to a certain point.
My mum can,
but now I can't remember. Like I can't. Like when I drive home now, I'll forget stuff from today.
Yeah.
But I can remember fucking racing. I can I can go back to tracks I raced. I could tell you whole tracks. I can tell you people I raced on a day.
Yeah.
It's weird, but like stuff like recent stuff is like, it's weird, dude. It freaks me out a little bit.
I think that's I kind of worked out. I think that's because your brain is so full up with the next thought.
Yeah.
What have I got to do next? You're not forgetting it.
Yeah.
You're just moving aside and putting something else in there for a minute. That's what I do. That's why my memory is terrible. It's awful. My short-term memory is awful. My calendar on my phone is just every day is full. But it's not to do things, it's just to remind me I've got to do things. Like you got to make a phone call, or you got to go and get the shopping, or silly things. It's really silly, but
stuff you forget.
But talking about obviously youth riders, and leads us on to the next question quite nicely, is if you could go back, what would you say to a 16-year-old you? What advice would you give him now? A 16-year-old Nev, what would you say to him?
Fucking stop hating everything. Stop being so, what's the word? Stubborn.
Yeah.
Fuck me, I was stubborn, man. But like, I would say that, but then I wouldn't say that because then I wouldn't have got to where I needed to get to if I wasn't stubborn like that. What would I say? Dude, I don't know. Like I think like I was quite, like my mom is the hardest working person I know, and she set a great example for me. So already by the time I got to that age, I'd already known that work ethic was what life was all about. What would I change at 16? Dude, I was quite arrogant as well. Like at 16, I was like quite an arrogant dude.
But no, help you to get as good as you are, mate.
I don't actually think there's actually not a lot that I would change. Like some of the decisions I made. Like one year, this is my second last year in South Africa, I made a decision to go to like a brand that wasn't going to suit me, and I kind of went away from Honda. Did that year, and then went back to Honda my last year. I probably would have stayed on Honda through the whole thing. Sometimes you think the grass is greener at a young age, when you get offered a bit of money and you get told this is going to happen and that's going to happen. So I probably would have, and that was around that age as well, I probably would have stayed Honda my whole time. But other than that, like as a person, kind of, it was bad times. Like it was lots of dark times because that's around the time my dad would have left. So it was just me and my mom and my sister.
Yeah, tough, man.
So, but then, like I don't know if I would have changed that. Like my dad chose to leave, and then I kind of, from that day, I kind of felt like if anyone wants to leave, they can go. Like if you want to stay, we'll be cool, but if you want to leave, then go. Like I learned from that day that you can, because like when your dad leaves, it's a big thing, dude. It's like your parent, isn't it?
I couldn't even imagine where to start. I had to unpack that.
And literally, dude, he was like, we're going to a track, so my mom used to take me riding. So we get to the track, we loaded up to get to the track, and then my dad had a case with him, and he was just like, can you drop him off at the airport once you've dropped him at the track? And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm leaving. I was like, fuck. So literally, my mom dropped me at the practice track. I was doing moto, she dropped him at the airport, and then he was gone. At that age, and you're like, fuck, like, okay, my dad's gone now. Like, how am I going to get my bike sorted? How am I going to get to races? Who's going to look after us when my mom's working? Because my mom worked at night all the time. So, but then it was cool as well because I realized, fuck, I don't need anyone. Like, I literally I do not need a single person in my life to live.
It's a powerful thing to learn. And when you learn that,
but you learn it the hard way, dude.
Course, man.
So that's like, I would change that, but I wouldn't change it. So at that age, that's the only thing I would change. But if I'm honest with myself, I probably wouldn't change it either.
Yeah, cool. What would you say to someone if they get on the phone, or if they come up and speak to you and they're like, you know, Neville, what can help me mentally? What can I do? What can I start putting in gear in my own life to try and change things, or find a little bit more brightness in my life? What advice would you give them?
Dude, I think that one of the biggest things is just living in the moment and enjoying the moment. You know, like a lot of people are like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and they're living in the future, or next weekend we're going to do this. It's like, enjoy now. Like, put your phone away. Like, enjoy now. Like, if you do something, like, take the experience in. Like, and I'm guilty of it as well. Like, I love Instagram and social media platforms. I like to express myself, but you know, like, I also lived in the era where we experienced stuff. When we went to concerts, we experienced the feeling. When we went out with our friends, it was a social thing. It wasn't like everyone on their phones, you know. So I think, first of all, like, really, like, live in your moment. First of all. Second of all, have something to look forward to. Have something that you're passionate about, that you want to do. Like, for me, it's racing. I want to race with the kids. I want to race two-strokes. I want to do well. I want to, you know, keep my following going. I want to put out cool content, you know. So for me, that's what I want to do. So that's what I focus on. And I think in life you have to have something that you're working towards, and then when you get there, enjoy that time. You know, like, you're not going to get that back again. Like, when you're at a motocross weekend, enjoy that weekend, because you're not going to do that weekend again. You know, so even if you're having a bad weekend, try level yourself out and say, right, let's just enjoy riding a motorbike. That's what you got to do, you know, like, fucking hang with your buddies, enjoy riding your bike. Like, you know, the big things aren't big things. Like, the things we think are big in the world, and everyone's guilty of it. You think you're having a hard time, and you know, you're suffering mentally or whatever, and it's quite a fucked up thing. But I always, when I'm suffering, I always think about somebody being, like, abused. You know, like I'm worried about, I'm not feeling great today, and I don't want to do this, and I'm anxious about this, and there's literally somebody in a room that's been beaten up or abused, or somebody, you know, there's a lot of people a lot worse off than what we are, you know. Like this, you know, it's horrendous, the shit you can think of, you know. So like, when I'm having a bad day, I always try to think of, you know, going back to, you know, as hard as the day is, it's always going to get better. And that's something I use now. Like I know when I'm going through like a period where I'm struggling, and I know it's not ideal at the time, but I know that this is not going to be forever, you know. And whether it's going to be in 2 days or whether it's going to be in a week, I know I'm not always going to feel like this. And I know it, dude. Like I've really worked it out in the last 3 or 4 years. Like, I know when I'm going through it, I can't get myself out of it. I know I'm in it, I can't get myself out of it, but I know this isn't going to be forever. And then one day, I can't tell you why, I can't tell you how, but I just flick out of it and I go back to myself.
Crazy, isn't it?
It's mental, dude.
Yeah, man.
It sucks. It fucking sucks.
That's exactly what it is. It's mental.
It sucks.
is a mental happening, man.
But like, I physically know when I'm in it. But I can't get myself out of it, and then just all of a sudden something will just, and then I'll go back to normal, and then I'll have like 3 or 4 weeks where I'm fine, and then something will trigger it, you'll get back into it, and it's like, I know I'm in it, but I can't get out of it, you know. So always know that, like, however bad you're feeling or whatever, it's not going to be like that forever, but it is going to change. Like,
it's great advice, man. Very hard to grasp it. It's very hard to put it into gear, innit? It's very difficult, but it's great advice, man. The living in the moment is something that human beings have got a problem with. Not just
in this generation,
men, women, it's human beings.
But I think especially in this generation,
and it's going to get worse because we're living in a phone, or we're living in a screen, or we're living in a newspaper, we're living in another reality, not our own. We're not living in this
time,
this
right
minute,
now.
this second. We're always like, what's on my phone? I've got to ring him, I've got to do this, next week I've got to do that.
And they're not taking, and even like, if you're at a concert or something, people aren't taking in the vibe. They're thinking how they can take that and put it out to other people to let them know that they're doing something. It's so different.
I get caught in it as well.
We all do, dude. We all do. That's why I can't sit here and kind of be too critical on it, because I'm in it myself, you know.
It's crazy.
But I'm also, I'm also I'm conscious of it.
Yeah.
Like I know, like there is times when I'm like, the phones aren't coming out. Like we're gonna enjoy this. Like this is what it is. You know, and it's
very difficult. Like especially when you're doing things that we're doing. Like we need to be online. Like, I've got my event. I've got this. What I'm doing, and obviously I'm like you. I like to put out cool things.
Yeah.
I like filming and I like riding. I like both sides of the camera.
I love both sides,
it. I love the creativity. I love the post edit. I love it. I can sit in my studio for 10 hours straight and forget the world's not even existed.
And just making cool shit.
Just making cool shit, you know, but getting wrapped up in it and quite fucking hell, I've only had this many watches and I stopped myself. Whoa! That's a big thing. I consciously like said, whoa. Like I have to pull myself back and go, what are you doing? What? Just have a little look at the whole picture. Does it matter?
It's weird, isn't it? Like now everything's. And I look at mine, dude, and like I'm just like a hobby rider now that enjoys it, and fuck the following I have, and the interaction with the posts I put on. Like even if you compare it to like professional races, it's fucking mental, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I wonder how the fuck, like I'm an old dude. You know, but I got like. I think it comes across how much I love to ride, and then just because I take the time,
that
like you saw today, like I get someone to take videos, because I love going home and looking through shit, making cool shit and putting it out,
putting it all together.
Because like for me, like when I lived in South Africa, we didn't have this, but if I did, I'd love to see like. So I've never been to this track, and I'm gonna go put it on my Instagram, and then fucking 30,000 people that haven't been to this track will see this track, you know, so it's opening up their eyes to, and the Instagram, there's so much cool shit in the world, you know, like not just motocross, like people do such rad shit.
Oh man.
And it's captured on thing now, you know, and that's, I find it very inspiring to just go through like reels and just see the cool shit that people do.
I spend a lot of my lunch time just flicking reels.
It's cool, isn't it?
I just for one, I love the way the video looks. Looks wicked. Looks out of focus and really industrial, but it looks sick. Like I did one. I done a promo the other week of the last Road to Happy. And I've never done a reel and zoomed it and put it to fit. And I pressed the fit button. I was like, mate, this is so cool. Like this is so, it looks wicked.
It's like real life, isn't it?
Yeah, man. But like you say, you find really inspiring things on there. It can be a really, really good thing, but it can be a really, really bad thing as well. You know, it can be very out of control.
Yeah, you got to just like control. Like I'm now like. You know, like when I was racing, negative comments, fuck, I used to be on the forums. If anyone gave me shit, I was giving them shit back. And now, like, I get negative comments, and dude, like, I do not give a fuck. I just like them, or I just give them a thumbs up, and like, because I don't really care, like.
I'll give them air, mate. Complete air.
Yeah, just
nothingness.
Like, fuck it, dude, like,
nothingness.
If you don't dig it, like, unfollow, you know, like, it doesn't really matter.
Exactly
like,
that. Keep scrolling. You don't like it, scroll on, man.
It's kind of like you always get someone that'll fit in, and like before, I'd be like. Controversial about it and fucking like why don't you like it or this, and now I'm just like either just have like a smart comment or I'll just leave it or just like
it. Leave it, man. I've learned that lesson, mate. Just leave it. I flick on, I have a little look, see if it's gaining. I like to read the trends. And the movement of stuff. I like to go on and write, okay, that video's moving, that one's not. Right, okay, what we'll have to do, we'll work on this
try to see what,
you know, see what. I love all of that and the algorithms, and a bit geeky with all of that, but YouTube is amazing. Like I have a folder, like I said to you the other day, I have an inspiration folder, inspiration playlist that if I'm having a bad day or if I'm struggling, I'll flick something on that inspires me. There's loads of good
shit, like there's on YouTube you can get. Like when I cycle, I'll spend an hour in the gym just on like a playlist of motivational speaking and stuff. Fucking, they're so powerful.
Yeah, man. I done a thing for charity a few months back last year, and I'd done 250 kilometers in 10 days. So 10 days straight. For me, that is that's 20 marathons for me. That's like massive. For other people, it's nothing, but it's relative to me. It meant a lot to me. I raised a lot of money. But every time after work, I was working near Mildenhall at Lakenheath. I was working on the infrastructure there, building it. So I was travelling 3.5 hours a day. So I'd travel hour and 45 minutes there, 2 hours back. And I was doing cycling every night, 25k consecutive nights, one after another. And what got me through that was listening to Ant Middleton's book.
Okay, right.
That's The First Man In It's called.
Yeah.
That got me through it.
Yeah.
Because on the way home I'd be like, oh, just give yourself a day off. Jiminy cricket in my head.
Yeah.
Oh, you've done 3 days, just have a day off, it'll be alright.
Yeah,
like, you ain't got to do it tonight. You've been hard, you've worked hard. And you haven't got to do it tonight.
The first one's always the easiest day off.
Oh man. But then, as soon as they come in, as soon as the day bang, I'd whack the book on.
Yeah.
And it's motivational. He's telling me, do this, do that. I've done this, done that. I've fucking all of the stories
if you have
about
that in
SAS.
your psyche, dude. Psyche, like when you subconsciously putting all that stuff in your psyche, it's only
brilliant.
good. Yeah,
I mean, this is what got us to this. It's got us to doing this. I want to hear everyone's story.
Yeah.
I want to hear how you got to be Neville Bradshaw, how you've become the athlete you've become, how you've created all of these pages in your book. How did you do it? You know, and what you spoke about today, that might ring true with 1 or 2 people.
Oh, no,
that goes,
for sure.
King.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it does with us when we listen to
really
it.
Wanted
like,
to do
King,
it.
you know?
I really wanted to do it because I've watched videos and vlogs and stuff where I'm like, fuck, I'm not the only one that's struggling with this, and I really wanted to kind of briefly touch on some some of the stuff, you know, because everyone needs to know, like, it's not all rainbow and sunshines, dude. Like, everyone struggles their life, you know, 100%.
You got to go through the rain to see the rainbow, man.
Definitely.
It don't exist without it.
No,
it's a really good saying, that it don't exist without it. I think that's true to life. So we've got come to the end of the questions.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some fun now. I've got some one-word answer questions. We'll go through them. So, 4-stroke or 2-stroke?
2-stroke all day long.
125 or 450?
125.
Yeah, man, we're winning. Crisps or chocolate?
Chocolate.
Yeah, man. Old school or new school?
Old school.
Yeah, man.
No doubt.
We're winning, man. Hard pack or soft pack?
Oh, hard pack.
Yeah.
All day long. All day long.
Did you prefer racing at home or racing away?
Like as in South Africa or?
Either either. If you call this home now, this is your home.
No, at home. At home, yeah.
Cool, man, cool. TV or radio?
TV.
The beach or the pool?
Beach. All day long.
I'm a pool man, I can't stand the sand.
No, dude,
I hate riding in it, let alone walking around in it. Moto or MTB, mountain bikes?
Oh, moto, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, moto. Like I don't mind mountain biking, but I can do some cool shit on a mountain bike and I don't buzz half as much as I do on a motorbike.
I tell you what though, you've got all of, when you get on a mountain bike, you've got no fear, all of the bottle, but none of the skill.
And no throttle.
And you throw yourself down in mountains and I'm like, go on, just hit it, just hit it, and you're up there and you're twisting the air and over the bars and all sorts. I see your crash the other day over the bars. I've done that one.
Sketchy.
Just hit it hard and
just like because it was running so slow because of the wetness, and then I fucking pumped into it and I was like, fuck no, because I pedalled as well. But it just didn't generate any power, and it just went. I was like, "Fuck! I better just bounce out of this."
That's the beauty of it. You just push it through your legs.
But
and
we're so old now, dude. We can't run fast enough. So like, I fucking fell down. I'm lucky my shoulder stayed in. I've kind of like separated a little bit.
Yeah. Oh mate.
Like when I did that last session, when I was coming out the corners, I could feel it pulling out.
Yeah.
Fucking getting old, man.
Well, listen, Neville. That's the end of the day, man.
No,
honestly, me, Ben, Paul, all of the crew, man. Honestly, I'm so appreciative of your time.
No, it's mega, dude.
We've taken you out of your house, and you know it costs a lot of money to bring your bike out, and you're away from your family, and I truly appreciate it.
No, it's good to kind of meet people in the same sort of not predicament, but the same sort of like lifestyle and thought process and past as I've had. So it's always good, dude.
Pleasure to meet you, brother.
It is.
Pleasure to meet you, man.